If wishes were horses, we would all be in quite a bit of trouble. Welcome back, Desert Bluffs! Before I begin with today's community news, there have been a few things going on around the station that I'd like to share with everyone. First, a lot of people have been asking me how the situation with intern Ella turned out. After Ella's parents made their way to the radio station, it was discovered that she was an only child. Now, ordinarily, this wouldn't be much of a problem. Producing a new child to take Ella's place really wouldn't have taken that long, and of course the station would have been very accommodating to Ella's parents during their stay with us. However, Ella's parents were less than receptive to this idea. We did eventually come to an agreement, and everything has been ironed out nicely. Relatedly, I finally got around to decorating the broadcast booth a little more nicely. Ella's parents were very helpful. Another thing that I do need to address before I begin with official broadcast business is the memo board here at the station. For those of you who don't know, our memo board is located on the wall outside of intern break room B, which has finally been cleared of chemical contaminants after last Thursday's incident. The memo board is mostly used by station interns, but it's more efficient to get the message to all of the interns by reading it on air than it is by posting it on the memo board. We've already tried posting it on the memo board. It didn't work. Interns in the station have taken to posting so many off-topic and inappropriate memos and reply memos that the board has become badly cluttered. For example, interns have taken to posting reply memos containing only a single word, such as first or this. Some reply memos have been posted containing profane or otherwise unacceptable language. I feel as if I've exhausted all of my other options, so I brought in a few members of the Neighborhood Watch to supervise the memo board. Anyone caught posting inappropriate memos will be placed under immediate watch. With that out of the way, why don't we move on to today's community announcements? The race for the position of Postmaster General is still going strong. With elections looming ever closer, there has been a lot of debate over whether or not intern Ella is still a viable candidate, despite the fact that she is currently deceased. Luckily, a new candidate announced himself yesterday, sparing us all the stress of an additional candidate lottery. Jonathan Stevens, an employee of a new company that's moved into town recently, stepped up to the plate and declared his candidacy. Mr. Stevens works for Elohim Biologic Incorporated, a biotechnology company that has recently finished building a large compound to the east of town. Elohim has also apparently brought in a number of very nice solar panels to power the buildings in their compound, and rumor has it they found a way to store the energy they collect so they can continue operations overnight. Now, of course, everyone is getting quite excited at the prospect of having a new mega-corporation in town to fill the void that StrexCorp left. I would advise keeping our guard up, however. As much as we would all enjoy having a new company to adore, it's important that, as a town, we ensure it's a good fit before we sign any legally binding paperwork. A development on the pyramid being built by the Society for Sufficient Sunlight. It appears the construction of the pyramid should be underway. However, no progress has been made. I went out to the build site to investigate, and what I found was troubling. It seems that the contractors that the Society had hired to build the pyramid had no previous experience in pyramid construction, so they subcontracted the job out. Easy enough, right? But then, the construction company that was subcontracted wound up subcontracting it out as well, also due to a lack of relevant experience. I can't say for certain how many different construction companies are involved in the pyramid construction project at this time. However, the tangle of paperwork and contracts has coalesced into something we have not seen in a dog's age. The dreaded Burricane. A whirlwind of red tape and paperwork that whips around at speeds up to 150 miles an hour. Capable of shredding a man to ribbons with a hail of paper cuts, the Burricane is a manifestation of the very best that the free market has to offer. Why, just standing there and viewing this manifestation of the invisible hand of capitalism at work and reducing hundreds of people into a thin red mist was truly inspiring. Fortunately, not a single Desert Bluffs resident was harmed in the making of this Burricane. All of our residents that would have been involved had the foresight to subcontract out the part of the job where they got anywhere near the thing to a pack of roving hippies. As a thick red mist of ink and blood settles over the town and coats the window to my booth to the point where I can no longer see anything, save a pink diffused glow that washes over my workspace like a second dawn, it got me thinking. Perhaps this addition of a new company to our town isn't something we need to be too anxious about. I've been thinking about it more as the broadcast goes on, and as a town, we really have been struggling. I know it's tough for all of us to admit, especially me, but I think having some oversight and guidance would be a good thing. Remember when Strex Corp first came to town? We didn't really think it was a good fit at the time. Many people wanted to leave Desert Bluffs, which frankly was a ridiculous and immature reaction to have. But over time, they grew on us. They grew in us. And I think this new company, Elohim Biologic, they seem interested in filling that gap we've developed. For instance, they reached out to me and gave me a copy of their frequently asked questions from communities they've partnered with in the past. I gave them a read-through and, well, I really like this company. Their attitude is professional but friendly. They seem proactive in reaching out to me and interacting with the community at large. Here, I'll play the recording of my read-through for you all so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. Oftentimes, when Elohim Biologic Incorporated begins operations in a new location, members of the surrounding community have concerns about how our operations will affect their lives. Some of these concerns are completely valid. Most, however, are not. To help ease your minds, we have assembled a set of commonly asked questions from community members who once found themselves in the same position your community is now in. Question 1. I am concerned about the environmental impact of the compound Elohim Biologic Incorporated has recently built in my community. What assurance can I have that EBI will not contribute in a meaningful way to the continued destruction of natural habitats and resources in my community? Answer. Elohim Biologic Incorporated can offer no hard and fast assurances. However, please feel reassured in knowing that, in our most recent company poll, just under half of our employees indicated that protecting the environment is generally something they agree with. Question 2. If I am negatively affected by any of Elohim Biologic Incorporated's ongoing experiments, who should I report this to, and what resolution should I expect? Answer. Elohim Biologic Incorporated places great importance upon securing the safety of the community at large around us. As such, there is virtually no possibility of any of our ongoing projects negatively impacting you in a significant way. If you find that one of our projects has indeed caused a significant negative effect in your life, please feel free to stop by the office of the community manager on our compound, and we will be happy to help you to understand the definition of significant as we apply it in all of our legal documentation. Question 3. What is that strange rumbling noise? Alternatively, what is that odd smell? Or perhaps, what is that strange thing that I just saw? Answer. Many of the projects that we work on here at Elohim Biologic Incorporated are strictly confidential for both legal and safety reasons. As such, we cannot comment on any phenomena that you allege to have seen nearby or within our compound, and can neither confirm nor deny our involvement in any alleged phenomenal activities. Question 4. What can I do to help Elohim Biologic Incorporated? Answer. We're glad you asked. In most cases, all we need from a community is their unwavering support and enthusiasm for our work. If Elohim Biologic needs anything specific, we will either send out a public message or contact the necessary individuals directly. We thank you all so much for being so understanding and willing to work with us during this transitional time. Everyone here at Elohim Biologic Incorporated wants nothing more than a peaceful and uneventful integration into your community. It will take work on both sides to achieve a successful merge, but we're confident that this merge will be the best for all involved. This has been an official message from Elohim Biologic Incorporated. Progress towards a shining future. Great, right? I certainly think so. Up next, the community calendar. On Monday, the Desert Bluffs Metropolitan Area Hospital will be holding a teddy bear clinic. If your child has an old or damaged teddy bear or other stuffed toy, you can bring it by the hospital's booth in the center of town and they will evaluate it. If the cost of treatment for your child's toy is estimated to be less than the value of the toy, it will be promptly repaired by a team of expert toy surgeons. If it is determined that the cost of repairs outweighs the value of the toy, then it will be discarded into the pit. You know, the pit. The one that always has a slick of morning dew along its interior, even at midday. Yeah, that's the one! It is advised that any children who bring a toy to the teddy bear clinic be restrained while our panel of appraisers makes their decision. It is not unheard of for a child to go hurtling into the pit after a beloved toy, and, as we all know, anything that enters the pit is completely unrecoverable. This Tuesday, the much-awaited bingo program returns. Compete in bingo against your friends and neighbors to win valuable prizes such as fresh drinking water, sunscreen, sturdy shoes, and even a complimentary get-out-of-trouble card from the Neighborhood Watch, good for one use only. On Wednesday, there will be an eel gargling competition. Due to the illicit nature of such competitions, the time and location of the competition is being kept a secret. It is entirely possible that it won't be held on Wednesday either. So, eel gargling, eventually, I guess. On Thursday, there will be a self-confidence workshop for women held at the rec center. This workshop is meant to help local women embrace their true selves, and then find effective ways to stifle their true selves in order to project an image of what our society thinks self-confidence looks like. Friday, there is an Easter egg hunt scheduled, and by Easter egg, we mean bomb. We hid a bomb in the town and it's going off on Friday. This Saturday, the Desert Bluffs Junior High School's 8th grade class is going on their summer retreat. All 8th graders are required to report to City Hall at dawn on Saturday to be fitted with their subdermal tracking devices, and then subsequently sent out into the sand wastes. We will be announcing the celebratory picnic for those that return in the coming weeks. On Sunday, the 7th day, the Lord rested, and the smiling God picked up the slack. This has been the community calendar. Speaking of our community, I sent out an intern to the Elohim Biologic Compound earlier today, and he's just now arriving. Unfortunately, it seems as though Elohim has a rule against phone calls on the premises due to a previous incident, so I'll be communicating with intern Vincent via text message. Vincent was lucky enough to get an interview with Jonathan Stevens, who is Elohim Biologic Incorporated's community manager, as well as a candidate for our upcoming Postmaster General election. Mr. Stevens was apologetic that he couldn't share many of the projects that Elohim is working on currently, due to various security concerns and non-disclosure agreements. However, Vincent is now sending me the details of one project that Mr. Stevens was able to share with us. Mr. Stevens is telling us that Elohim Biologic Incorporated is working on a genetic engineering project. They're attempting to modify a turtle's genetic code in order to optimize it for life in our desert environment. Now, Vincent, isn't that just a tortoise? I mean, it sounds a lot like a tortoise at least, and Vincent has texted me back very promptly. Mr. Stevens is apparently getting quite irate at the suggestion that their modified turtle is just a tortoise. It is more than that, he is saying. It is definitely not just an excuse to collect tortoises from the surrounding desert. I would explain it to you, but it is very clear that you wouldn't understand, he added, sounding frustrated. Vincent is about wrapping up his interview with Mr. Stevens now, but it seems that Mr. Stevens has something that he would like Vincent to deliver to me. Oh, how I love unexpected surprises. They definitely don't upset me in the slightest. It seems that Mr. Stevens, despite the fact that the Postmaster General election has not yet taken place, is already handling mail. He has a letter, and that letter is addressed to me. This is particularly strange, as the address of the station cannot be expressed by use of mundane script. Vincent is also telling me that the letter has resolve? Yes, apparently the letter has resolve, and it's stained with what seems to be barbecue sauce, but the source of the... You know what? Vincent, just bring the letter to the station. I'll meet with you in the lobby and we can sort this out there. While I go meet up with Vincent to retrieve my unexpected letter, why don't you all listen to today's climate report?
After you pushed my heart over, I was so for a week. I could feel it beating under the sheet. I'm all nerves, you think I look like a harp now. Your shoes on my belly, the bed full of dirt, but I feel it beating softly under the sheet. When I get lazy, I act like I'm crazy. But your manners just send me straight into bed. You and the rest of you, boots and all, and the fever. That donkey heart is still the king. Sure, you can make me blue, but you can't change how I feel about you. I can feel it beating under the sheet. After you pushed my heart over, I was sound for a week. I could feel it beating under the sheet. When I get lazy, I act like I'm crazy. But your manners just send me straight into bed. You and the rest of you, boots and all, and the fever. That donkey heart is still the king.
Welcome back! We've about covered everything really important tonight, but before I sign off, I suppose you're all very curious about my letter. The truth is, I haven't opened it yet. I had plenty of time to while the climate report was wrapping up, but I kinda wanted to do it on air, to share the excitement with you all. There's something so thrilling about receiving a letter, especially when you don't have any living pen pals. So, I'll give you all a quick description of the envelope before I open it. The return address on the top left corner of the envelope is simply New Desert Bluffs, which isn't a place that I've heard of. Perhaps there is another town, a town that emulates our Desert Bluffs, and someone there is sending me fan mail. What Vincent mistook for barbecue sauce is actually something much more common. It's blood. I was surprised when he said that there was barbecue sauce on the envelope. We haven't had a barbecue in town for quite a long time. Whoever wrote this also knows my full name and wrote it on the envelope. This does narrow the scope of who could have written the letter. Most people don't know my full name. I hardly ever use it these days. Okay, well, here goes. I am opening the letter. It reads, "Dearest friend, Oh, wait. Oh, goodness. Listeners, this letter is from Kevin. I need to take some time to reflect on the contents of this letter, but before I go, I'll leave you all with a final thought. Don't cry because it's over. Smile, because there's nothing else you can do. I'll talk to you soon, Desert Bluffs. Keep smiling."
Welcome Back, Desert Bluffs is a fan-made podcast based upon characters and events from Welcome to Night Vale, which is the intellectual property of Commonplace Books. The voice of Terry was Ren Connolly. This episode's climate report was After You by My Bubba and Me. Information about the climate report and other sounds used in this episode can be found in the description below. Got a burning question? Got a burning somewhere else? Send us an email at welcomebackdesertbluffs@gmail.com.